Back on my time as host of Greater Boston, there are certain people who stand out, people we came to rely on for unique perspectives on the issues we tackle here. And so before I step down from this post, we're inviting back a select few who helped elevate the show over the years. We're calling it Emily's List. One of my earliest guests here on the show was famed civil rights attorney Harvey Silverglate. We've sought his countenance many times over the years, but he's a Greater Boston participant on a whole other level, often commenting on shows and guests. We have dialogues that go well into our weekends. In addition to practicing law, Harvey Silverglate is a prolific writer and thorn in the side of federal law enforcement. Harvey Silverglate joins us. Welcome. Pleasure to have you.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, although I remember being here at the beginning.
You were?
Yeah. And
you used to intimidate me. I'm over that.
Well, I thought you intimidated me, so
Really?
I guess it was a mutual intimidation society, huh?
Good, good. You know, I'm really curious about you and how you came to your positions. I mean, a lot of people may think of you as anti-government. I know that's not true. You were just watching that Jonathan Gruber testimony saying it's a great country that we can have this kind of
hearings
yeah, and openness. But you are on issues of overcharging people and, you know, the federal government and white-collar crime and that. Where did that come from?
Well, I've been a criminal defense lawyer since 1967, and I have seen gradually the federal government get really quite out of control. And, you know, I'm one of the people representing people who are the victims of this out-of-control government, and so naturally I think about it all the time. You know, and several times they've threatened me.
I wondered about that.
There have been stings on me 3 times, undercover agents, stings, trying to get me to do illegal things, say illegal things. I found out afterwards they were wired.
Yeah.
You know, well, they shouldn't be doing stings on lawyers. They have no reason to think that I'm going to engage in crime. So the FBI goes overboard. The Department of Justice goes overboard. Someone's got to say something.
Same with your theories about what's going on in college campuses. You wrote The Shadow University, and you're basically saying that, you know, free speech has just disappeared from college campuses. Do you get backlash on that, too?
Oh, I do get backlash. But, you know, it's more than free speech. The truth is the administration of colleges has become ludicrous. They're ridiculous, these people. You know, the FBI is sort of dangerous, but the college campus administrators are ludicrous. It's foolish what's going on, but it hurts a lot of students in the process.
And how so? How?
Well, right now there is a campus sexual assault.
Yes. Do you think that's real?
There's a panic. You know,
but is it real in your head?
Is it real? Are there campus sexual assaults? Of course, there are sexual assaults in all aspects of society, but they're not solved by taking large numbers of innocent males and throwing them out of college. That doesn't solve the problem. That creates bitterness and creates social problems down the line. So the campuses are not being sensible. You know, the faculty no longer runs the colleges. It's the administrators. About 5 years ago, for the first time in American history, the number of administrators in higher education outnumbered the number of teachers. Well, that explains somewhat what's happening now. It's bureaucrats who are running wild, and the students are suffering.
So you and your wife, you say Elsa Dorfman, who, for people who don't know, is known as the Polaroid photographer.
Polaroid, large format photographer.
You know, so everybody has an Elsa Dorfman. You're also very involved in the community, in the Cambridge community, in the arts community. I mean, you're an entrenched part of Cambridge, really, wouldn't you say?
Except that I don't go to parties. I do
really?
not go
That's
to
why
parties.
I've never seen you there.
That's why you don't see me. No.
Now, why is that?
Oh, it's just my personality. I can't speak to more than 2 or 3 people at one time.
Because it's not an important conversation. You don't like.
It's never an important conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
I was at a Cambridge party the other night. It was actually quite lovely.
Well, in some people's eyes, the parties are lovely, and for me, they're torture.
Okay. Last year, you had a bit of a health scare, and you said, you know, I'm going to step back. I can't work as hard as, I mean, I write books, I write articles, I write columns, I represent my clients. How have you been able to do that, knowing you as I do? You're a bit of a manic when it comes to work?
Well, you know, my father died when I was a senior in college, and I suddenly had a brother to support, my mother to support, myself to put through law school. And I became a workaholic that day. And I have spent a good part of my life trying to curb my tendency to work all the time. And I've gotten a little bit better at it. I mean, you could ask Elsa, maybe she'll tell you that I'm exaggerating. But I'm a little bit better at it now. My next book, I've decided to do a mini book rather than a full-length book, again about the Department of Justice. I'm sure the department would be happy to hear that too.
Do they ever get in touch with you? Have you ever had, have they been defensive of their methodology? I mean,
well, I'll tell you something interesting. My last book, 3 Felonies a Day, about the Department of Justice, I've had situations where I've been at conferences or I've given talks. Federal judges have come up to me and have said, you know, I read that book and I think you're right. But they will never say it publicly. But I was very pleased. And in one case, a federal prosecutor said that to me. He thought that I was right about the excesses of the department. So I thought that makes it worthwhile to write that book. That
I'd say it
even
does.
a prosecutor once in a while can say,
I loved it.
You're right.
Harvey Silverglate, glad you no longer intimidate me. Great to have you.